Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our morning edition. This is Gashi Skyman. A number of Kenyans have been talking about Saba Saba. Saba Saba is associated with the second liberation when Kenyans actually gathered, when Kenyans demonstrated and started demanding for the multi-party democracy because Daniel Toroitich Armoy had ensured that Kenya was a single party country, and therefore people like Matiba and many others, Akina Shikuku and Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Raila Amolo Odinga, there were so many Akina Mwite. They led demonstrations, and the church was not left out, because I remember there was Akina Muge, Akina Gitari, Joseph Gitari, is it David Gitari, ACK. Blood was shed. And in the final analysis, Section 2A of the former constitution had to be actually appealed, and Kenya was to be a democracy. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenyans are associating this day with the Gen Z movement. When you look at the social media, I have noted that a number of activists, a number of Kenyans are saying that Kenyans should continue with that spirit of the second liberation until the country is liberated. Ladies and gentlemen, this is coming at a time when the country is actually reeling from destruction of property, when some people have not been buried, and those who have been buried, when the graves are still not dry. Ladies and gentlemen, William Samoei Ruto is not in the country. And I noted that a number of Kenyans in the United Kingdom are planning to demonstrate, are planning for peaceful demonstration when the president is in the United Kingdom. So this one tells you that the idea of demonstrations, the idea of picketing has actually gone beyond the Kenyan borders. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say this about Saba Saba. Number one, that Kenyans have a right to demonstrate. Kenyans have a right for peaceful demonstration and picketing. But in these demonstrations, we have seen goons coming and taking over the demonstrations. In these demonstrations, we have seen goons working with policemen. In these demonstrations, we have seen a lot of destruction of properties. And when you look at the way this one is being carried out, it is being carried out with military precision. It is being carried out like it is a very coordinated activity. We have seen a number of Kenyans being aligned in courts. But there's one question that I'm asking. We saw policemen actually raiding shops. We saw policemen actually looting laptops. But we have not seen these policemen being taken to court. That is one area that would like the government to focus. Let's see these policemen, because you see the CCTV cameras and the media can be able to show them. There are photos all over of policemen looting shops. And there's also so many photos of goons actually also raiding shops. Let's see these goons being actually arrested and being taken to court. Let's see these policemen also, kwa sababu mkuki kwa nguruwe kwa mwanadamu mchugu, we cannot apply double standards when it comes to application of laws. Number two, we saw the policemen also working with the goons. We saw the policemen also not defending the police stations. So the question one would ask, and I've always asked my friends, why is it that the policemen could not even actually protect the police stations, where there are arms, where there are policemen? Because we saw police stations being banned. What happened? Is it that the policemen were retreating? Is it that the policemen are part of these people who are demonstrating? Because we have also seen some policemen also complaining and saying that they were harmed. We saw policemen being chased by the mob. And sometimes I tend to think it is deliberate that the policemen would tend to run away from the mob so that it look like the policemen are now defending themselves. So, what are the available options that the government has? This is what I want us to look. Number one, the government can decide to let Kenyans demonstrate peacefully. The government, in fact, the best thing would for the government to protect the demonstrators. Ensure there is no looting of properties. Ensure there are no goons. Tell them, protest, demonstrate, but do not destroy properties. Protest, demonstrate, but do not kill each other. That's what should happen. Because you see, lives have been lost. And life must be protected. Properties must be protected. That is the truth of the matter. But you cannot have a situation where Kenyans are demonstrating because the government want to infiltrate this, want to make this thing appear like it is political, and blame some social media activists and some opposition leaders. Then you start saying that people must die as you protect properties. So that is the best way for the government to do, because we have seen demonstrations in developed countries. I think there was a country, is it in Germany, where workers demonstrated almost a month, and there was no loss of property, there was no destruction of property, there was no loss of life. So what is so special in Kenya that policemen must kill innocent Kenyans, and policemen must also be injured by Kenyans? We can do it in a very formal way. Demonstrations are real. Number two, that the government should do, the government should actually try to solve this problem. Because what Kenyans are saying is simple. Stop extrajudicial killings. And every day, we are seeing Kenyans being abducted by policemen. We saw the court drama that happened yesterday in court. And when Justice Chacha Mwita ruled that they were talking about life, were talking about a human being who should be brought to court, I could see the DCI were taking it very, very lightly. So when you look at it, you agree with me that the government can stop these abductions. The government can stop these extrajudicial killings. The government can stop a killing of innocent Kenyans. Because what is this that is so difficult that it can make the government not stop these abductions? Unless now the government is telling us this is its modus operandi. This is its way of doing things. Because when you look at it, it's the way of doing things. Number three that the government should do is that the government needs to come with a working formula with the youth. Bring the youth to the table. Let's have an honest discussion. Let's discuss where this country is going. Because what is making Kenyans angry is that, one, they can be able to see the government operatives living in opulence. They can be able to see the government operatives dishing out money. How do you explain that you go out with millions and millions of money in sacks? You actually show off with millions and millions. You dish money here and there. And then there are Kenyans who cannot even be able to afford a 3-course meal. Then there are Kenyans who cannot even afford a breakfast. Then there are Kenyans who cannot be able to wear a decent clothing. And this is their money. So the government need to stop this kind of opulence, this kind of misappropriation. Then there is a lot of corruption in this country. We have not seen William Samoei Ruto fighting corruption. We have not seen him. But we have seen some people just being actually hounded out of office by the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. When you look at it, it is very, very much politicized. And what made William Samoei Ruto to start actually working with people who had court cases in his government? What made William Samoei Ruto to bring some of these people in the cabinet? Because the most corrupt people are actually in the government. The most corrupt people are actually working with William Samoei Ruto. This is what you need to address. And again, when you look at the way he is dealing with the oppositions, it is angering many Kenyans. Because what the government is doing, the government seems to be fighting the opposition through every day. Kila wakati wakiamka, they are trying to say ABC and D. And the DCI had to come out and say that they are not looking for Rigathi Gachagua. What is this that Rigathi Gachagua has done? Yet we have not seen Rigathi Gachagua in the demonstrations. And if, like Matiang'i said, that the opposition are funding the destruction of properties, why not arrest these opposition leaders? If they are told they are the one who are doing it, if you have the evidence, then what are you waiting for? As Matiang'i would ask. So, ladies and gentlemen, the government has the devil's option. And I heard Miguna talking about it. Declare curfew or even a state of emergency. Because when you look at what is happening, if the government is going to do that, what do you think is going to happen? If the government declares a state of emergency, do you think we are going to be out of the wood? Do you think this is a solution? What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe you can let me know your comment in the comment section. Otherwise, have a blessed day. Till next time, this is Gashi Skyman. Bye-bye.